Hi, I'm Dr. Becky, and this is Good Inside. How can I do things today that set my kid up to honor their own boundaries, be in touch with what they need? So, okay, a couple ideas. Let's teach our kids to first notice who they are and what's going on for them before they notice their impact on others. Focus on what's going on for me, what's going on inside of me, who am I, before they focus on their impact on others. Now, let me say something before we go further, because I already hear my own reaction. That sounds like you're going to create a generation of like really self-centered kids, right? Are you saying that kids shouldn't notice when they hurt other people's feelings? Like, I hear these other questions in my head, so I'm sure they're coming up for you too. No, I have no interest in creating a generation of selfish kids. That's definitely not, high up on my list of goals. There's just a critical order of operations. That's what I think. I hope my kids and all of your kids have a ton of empathy. I hope that they care a lot about the people around them and that they're generous. And actually, we know, going back to that idea that kids are good inside, that we don't have to train kids to be that way. Actually, those things are inside them, and just sometimes things get in the way. What can get in the way? Being really overwhelmed by your own feelings that are so big that they crowd out things like empathy and generosity. What can get in the way? Feeling ashamed, feeling bad about yourself, feeling scared. Scared of what? Often of the loss of attachment, right? Kind of the fear of abandonment and therefore aloneness. So why does this order of operations really matter? We have to first help kids understand themselves so they can feel safe, so they can be grounded. It's only from that safe, grounded place that kids can interact with others in an authentic way that shows generosity and connectedness, right? So we lay the groundwork for kids understanding themselves. That then allows kids to develop in all the ways we want them to. A few concrete ideas. Number one, I think about this term a lot: preserving access to desire. I know that feels almost like intellectual, so let's break that down. I hear myself say that. I'm like, Becky, what do you mean? Okay. If we want to help our kids not be taken over by a people-pleasing part, well, a pretty good way to do that is to help our kids identify what they want for themselves. Now, this doesn't mean they get what they want. Again, we often conflate the two. I want my kids to always know what they want. Most of the time, I'm actually probably going to say no because they want a lot of things in life. Helping a kid preserve access to desire is totally unrelated to giving kids everything they want. Let's really separate them. Knowing what you want, getting what you want. Two different things. Almost all kids' tantrums come down to wanting and not having. Almost all of them. Kids want something and we say no, and they are in that frustration and it explodes. We can help kids preserve access to desire by separating behavior from an underlying want or wish. Or to get even more concrete, every time we name the wish or the want under the tantrum, while we set a boundary, if we need to keep our kids safe during a tantrum, we essentially are saying to our kids, oh, I'm not going to let you do things that are unsafe. And it's okay to want things for yourself. You don't have to block access to desire just to make other people's lives easier. That's huge. Let's go over some examples. Your kid wants a red crayon and their friend is playing with a red crayon and they're frustrated and then they hit. Here's one intervention. Stop hitting. Look, you're hurting him. You're hurting him. I'm paying more attention to impact than on what's going on to a child. Here's a different intervention. I'm not going to let you hit. That's the boundary I set. I'm going to be the boundary for my kid. He can't be for themselves. Now I'm establishing safety. After that, I know you really want that red crayon. I know you see these other crayons. There's a light red. There's a pink. There's an orange. So similar. You don't want any of those. You only want that crayon. Maybe even your child says, so can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? No, your friend's playing with it. I'm not going to let you hit. Actually, we're going to move further away to stay safe. And I understand how hard it is to want something and not have it. I am a sturdy leader. I am separating behavior from desire. And I'm also not using this situation to put guilt on my child. For my child in a dysregulated state to learn, oh, I guess the only thing that matters is that the other person is upset. That doesn't teach a kid a regulation skill they need. That only teaches a kid that their wants endangers their relationships. Here's another example. I'm in a toy store and I told my child, we're going to go to the toy store. We're going to buy a birthday present for your cousin. We're not getting anything else. I've done this myself. Doesn't go well all the time. I'm there. My daughter is crying on the floor, having a meltdown. Here's an intervention that I wouldn't so much recommend because, again, it doesn't differentiate. What is wrong with you? You're so embarrassing. Look around. Do you see any other kids on the floor crying? Now, let me be clear. The reason those words come so easily to me is because I've said them myself more than once, okay? So if you're thinking, oh, I've definitely said that, join the club, take a deep breath, and come back. These words are an alternative, ones we hope to use some of the time. If your child is crying on the floor, I'd probably pick them up, move them away. Hey, we're going to go here away from all the games. I know you want that game. I know it's so hard to be in a toy store. It's so hard to be in a store full of things you want and not get anything. We're not going to get anything besides this gift. And sweetie, I love that you want things for yourself. It's really cool. My no is still a no, but you're always allowed to want things. That's so powerful to say to kids. Let's go on to a couple other things. Celebrate differences with your kids. I love saying things like this here and there to my kids. You know what's funny? I always have yogurt for breakfast. I love yogurt. You basically don't like yogurt at all. Isn't that cool? Me and you are so close, and yet we have so many things that are really different about us. Really sets the stage to kind of establish your child's a separate person, and they don't need to gaze out to figure out what they're supposed to like, that they have that information inside of them, and it's okay to be different from other people. Bringing that all together, let's help our kids preserve access to their desire. Let's celebrate the ways they're different from us, and let's focus initially on the skills our kids need rather than the impact their hard moments have on us. Why is it so hard to find reliable answers to parenting questions? How is it in 2022 parents still search on Google for answers from strangers? Well, now there's a better way. Introducing the Good Inside membership, an expert-guided, community-powered platform redefining modern parenting. In our library, you'll find hundreds of bite-sized videos, articles, scripts, and workshops tackling the trickiest parenting topics. And it doesn't stop here. We've created a private community guided by me, Dr. Becky, and coaches trained in the Good Inside parenting method. Here you can ask questions, connect with other parents, or attend a live event on a topic that matters to you. This is the parenting handbook that doesn't exist. This is parenting advice at your fingertips, where you need it, when you need it the most. This is Good Inside membership.